Good afternoon, guys. So once again, back in the garage. Today's going to be for maybe some newer subscribers or even people that have been around for a little bit. One of the most frequently questions I've been getting here is, what are your plans for the channel? Tell us a little bit about your cars, what's done to them, especially for the Supra here. A lot of people keep asking me what's done to it. Some of my older videos I went over it, and I know I built the car, but I guess I never really broke it down saying exactly what's done to it. I'm hoping today to do something like that for you, make this really simple, kind of go over what I do here in the garage, where I have the whole custom garage setup. I'll go over that a little bit here too, but let's start with the Supra here first and foremost. So let's go ahead and pop the hood on the Supra here, then we'll get to the interior and I'll show you guys the rest of it here too. All right, so what we have here is a 2JZ GTE motor. This car originally was a non-turbo vehicle. I bought this car bone stock, nothing done to it except for an ugly set of chrome wheels. The owner I actually bought this from did not care about the car at all. This was his beater. It was sitting on the back, had tires laying on it. The tires I actually bought, with the wheels and tires on it, had flat spots. The car was horrible. I got it home and started cleaning it up. The first mod I did, literally as soon as I walked in, was a set of 97, 98 headlights that I bought from a friend a year before I even bought this car. That's how determined I was to buy a Supra. So that was one of the first mods I did, then upgraded it with a 97, 98 front bumper, turn signals, and then put an MVP Motorsports or old school Wings West front lip on it here. That was like some of the cosmetic stuff I did, and then went ahead and upgraded to these privet wheels, which are 8.5 in the front, 9.5 in the rear, 275 tire in the rear, and I think it's a 235 in the front. Since I know I was talking about the engine there, but to go back up in the interior, I kept this all bone stock. You know, in here the car is just, I put a 98 and up steering wheel on it. I had the dash panels wrapped in a nice vinyl that looks like a metal metallic. Just a TRD shift knob, and it all has stock leather interior in it. And the only other thing is the fire extinguisher down there at the bottom from Killer Concepts. I can link that down below for you guys. The other thing I did too, I've had people message me about this before. Go ahead and open the trunk here. I know it seems weird to look at the trunk, but other Supra owners will see this, as I have a custom trunk mat put in here. It looks like one solid piece. It's made of a flexible material that allows you to pull it in and out. But this removes the carpet and removes a little plastic panel under it, and this, in my opinion, looks nicer, fits better, and you don't have to worry about that carpet that always goes bad. And when you're driving a car, all the dust, debris, and everything comes back here. Instead of having to constantly vacuum it, I literally take a rag, wipe this off, and I go. I put, I don't know how many things back here. It takes all the weight. It doesn't get scratched up easily. I've sat shoes on it with no issues. I've never had a problem. The company that made this for me is a local sound shop. This is made, I'm not sure exact material, but it's carpeted underneath with sound deadening material to help keep it as much noise out as possible too, which in my opinion really did actually help a lot. That's probably the best thing. Not only is it effective and look nice, but the bottom of it has carpeted and sound deadening material to help keep as much NVH or noise out as possible, which I really liked. They even cut it out so it keeps the stock sub. And they said they can make one without it, so I can always talk to them if anyone else is interested in this. I tried selling it for a while, but people don't seem to like the price, and what I was selling it for is what you're going to pay a shop, which is around 400 bucks for this. I wasn't able to sell it at that, and that's what it's going to cost. Actually, it's going to cost you a little bit over 500 to be 100% honest, to make this, which seems a little steep, but each one's custom made and it takes some time, etc., etc. So if you guys are interested, please shoot me a message on my Facebook and I'll try to get back with you as soon as possible. But now let's go ahead and go back up front here, and I'll talk about some of the performance mods done to this car. Now, back up front here, we are looking at, again, the 2JZ GTE. The car, once again, was naturally aspirated, had a W58 transmission in it when I originally bought this car. It was slow, very slow, but I loved it still. It did not bother me. It never was a real issue for me per se. But about 2.5 years ago, I finally started collecting parts and started going down the path saying, you know what, I'm going to swap it, and if I'm going to swap it, I'm going to do it right. Engine-wise, because when I did it, I actually kept the W58 for a while, had the stock rear end, and it was terrible, and I hated it, but I'll get to the rest of that here. So I bought this motor out of northern New Jersey from a guy named Mike, who already had a single on it. It was an eBay setup, and I was like, all right, whatever. Ended up buying that, selling everything off of it that I didn't need, and actually ended up getting the motor technically for free after selling all those parts off. So it ended up being a really good buy for me, because most of the stock TT parts wouldn't have been worth anything. So I ended up pretty much getting the motor for free, which pretty awesome if you think about it. Went ahead and bought a Borg Warner. I bought a JDL auto design manifold. It is a custom downpipe and midpipe made by Austin here in Greencastle, PA. It has a Mystery Motor radiator, Powerhouse Racing hard pipe, custom intercooler piping, a CX Racing intercooler, And then it also has a custom cover plate here that I got off eBay years ago. I don't think they make it anymore. A couple other things here. You got an Aeromoto fuel pressure regulator, custom lines. I made those myself. It is running FID 1000cc injectors. It is running a Kaizen Motorsports custom harness that plugs directly into my AIM Infinity 8H. That's probably my favorite thing about the car. One, the harness looks great, but it takes all wiring gremlins. You don't have any, you know, it doesn't have the issues that like I see with other harnesses. He uses quality Japanese connectors or American-made connectors. There's no Chinese connectors on this entire harness. I guess the only thing that would be Chinese connector would be the one directly for the Infinity, since they don't offer that one anywhere else and they are made in China. And this plugs directly into it. So there's no jumper harness there with multiple connections, multiple wiring. This is simplifies anything. Any issues that could arise has to be in this harness itself, and I haven't had any. When I first got it, there was one small issue. Jose, who made the harness, literally flew out here to resolve the issue from Southern California on a red eye. He made the reservation on Sunday, was out here first thing Monday, fixed the issue, and flew right back. That's probably the best customer service you'll ever get. I'll link his stuff down below as per usual. Kaizen Motorsports has been a big help in getting this car done. Some other stuff we have here. We have a Mac controller set up here to a single tile MVR wastegate. This car still does have AC. That was one thing I made sure of. I made sure to keep AC as it's a true street car. I'm gonna get to power goals and everything with the car here also. It does have a one-piece drive shaft in and out, and it has an auto TT rear end with stock NA axles. The NA axles and the TT axles are slightly different. The automatic axles and NA axles are exactly the same, so you can bolt them right up. Makes it super easy. This has OCD Works billet valve covers on them, and a custom catch cam from Empire Performance, and I made all the lines for that. Something that's not engine related, but for the brakes, I made custom stainless steel brake lines and a custom stainless steel clutch line here. I made those about 3 years ago now, and it's probably one of my favorite things in the engine bay. It helped clean things up a lot. Yes, I did remove the ABS, but I have seen no issues with it. I've driven the car in the rain multiple times, and I have yet to see any problems per se. So I think it was one of my favorite things I did. Next thing I might do is put this in the trunk, but I do like having it up front. I think it simplifies things, and it's a true street car, so having everything right up front makes my life easier. Having a custom coolant tank would be nice because that looks hideous. I also have a Powerhouse Racing overflow tank here in custom fittings, and a high pressure line from Drift Motion that's down underneath that you guys can't even see. Inside the motor here is a stock 100% untouched bottom end. Nothing's ever been done to it. Now the head I completely built myself this winter. This has BC 272 cams, has retainers and springs, and stock valves. I kept stock valves for the power goals and stuff, and where I'm revving it, I don't see any issues with them. I haven't had a problem yet. I had the head I had the head decked, and it's been great, leak-free this whole time, using a Toyota head gasket, a brand new one, and I've had zero issues with that. Forgot to mention too, this car does have an R154 transmission out of a Chaser. Now, people always ask me, R154 is a Mark III Super Trans. Yes, it came in multiple cars since the 70s, was in trucks, it was just about everything. That's why they don't shift the smoothest or the best at times. What's in this is the latest revision of that transmission, and it comes like a tripod style, like the later generation W58, or very close to what a V160 would be like. They tend to hold more power than the rest of the trans. They shift smoother than the rest of the R150 transmissions, and they just seem to be a pretty damn good transmission. It's not a V160 at the end of the day, it is not, but it holds the power very well, and I've had no issues with me banging gears, dumping the clutch. It's taken all the abuse, and I've been very happy with it for the most part. I would still prefer to have a T56 or a V160, a V160 being the top of that goal, just to keep it a very Toyota 100% built car, because I can keep a Toyota rear end. I can actually put a stock Toyota drive shaft in at the power levels I'm at, which gets me to my next subject. This car currently makes 650 wheel horsepower and 550 foot-pounds of torque on 93 pump gas, tuned by John Kerr up at JK Tuning in Carlisle, PA. I can't say enough about John. He did a great job with this car, getting it all ready. I don't know how many emails back and forth. I can't say one bad thing about the guy. He's super nice, super calm, unlike me, who is ADD to the max. He is very calm and collected and answers every one of my questions. I would recommend him to anyone who needs their car tuned. He tunes anything from GTRs to drag cars. I think he had a funny car up there one day. He does literally the gamut. I would highly recommend him again. But the car makes good power, and I don't really plan on going much more unless it's on 93 pump gas. Now, a lot of people ask me, why don't you go 85? And I could. I'd be pushing more power, doing all these things, but then you start adding this to it and that to it, and you start getting the big power problems, and I just don't want to do that. I mean, I might get to the 750 range, but I don't want to work the engine too hard to the point that I can't just beat on it like I am. I probably will go to an S369 or a Comp Turbo. The 66 is good, but the S369, which is slightly larger, not only does it give me a little bit more power and top end, but it actually spools a good bit faster than the old S366, because this is pretty much a diesel truck turbo at the end of the day. I mean, it works, and it's a workhorse. You can beat the shit out of them. They're $550 brand new. 550 bucks for a 66mm turbo? Sign me up. Now, the problem with them is they're a little bit large for what they do, and the rear flange on them is a Marmon flange, not a V-band flange. So you can either mill them flat, which I've seen a lot of people do, or you can do what I did. I cut mine off and had a V-band stainless steel flange welded on. That's completely up to you. I'm not sure. I know Jason Smuck does all that kind of work up there in Mechanicsburg, but hey, that's up to you guys what you'd like to do. That's the basics of this car. There's nothing too special about it, but the goal with this car is to be 100% street car, daily driven if I need it to be. I want my mom to be able to drive it. It's not there yet. It makes good power, but the clutch just isn't. I'm not happy with the clutch at all right now. Cold start could be a little bit better. What I mean by that, it's not John's fault, but the AIM Infinity has a cold sync it makes you do, so it sits there and goes over so many times before it allows it to start. That's just an AEM thing. Is that a big issue? No, because it starts every time. Every time I turn that key, car starts every single time, so I can't bitch about that. But that's the end goals for this car, guys. Now let's move over to what the MR2's for, since I just recently bought that, and I'll go over that with you real quick. So this is a 93 original turbo MR2. Unlike the Supra, which was originally non-turbo, this is a true turbo car, turbo chassis, with all the extra bells and whistles that came with the turbos, which I like. Just going over the exterior, it's completely stock. I bought it from the second owner who had it for 18 years, and in 18 years put 15,000 miles on the car, and it just sat in his garage. This was his baby, and he just took very good care of it. Now, it has bought it with 129,000 miles on it, and the guy he bought it from had put 115 all highway mileage up until 1999. I mean, he literally drove it everywhere, as you can tell. So once they got it, they put brand new leather in it. They did the gamut. It has paint. It has everything done. If you guys can see the interior here, the leather is literally brand new in this. They put brand new cat skin leather in it, and it's super soft. I'm probably going to put something on it to keep it nice so it doesn't go bad over time. I can see here where it's starting to have the stress marks, typical leather stress. I went ahead and put a Supra 98 and up steering wheel on this one also. I got this from Chris Floor over at Supermarket. It was another one of my, it's like a go-to thing. I plan on eventually getting a GT4 Celica, and I'll also be doing this just because it fits the interior well. It does not look out of place, but it modernizes enough that it helps it out. This car also originally had the stock cassette and CD player with the 8-speaker stereo system, which this has stock speakers in it, and honestly, I'm quite impressed. No, it does not have the bass, but the highs are incredible in this car. I can't believe how good the stereo is for how old this is. I would definitely enjoy daily driving this car. It drives very smooth, much smoother than the Supra does. Now, it doesn't make near the power it does, but the car is just like a go-kart, and it stops on a dime. Like I said, this came originally all leather like this, leather door panels, etc. No nicks, knacks, or anything of that nature. Stock 15-inch wheels. Now, here's the one big modification done to it. This does have a Generation 3 3S GTE motor. Now, if you're not a Toyota person or don't know any different, the Gen 3 came out of, I believe, don't quote me on this, the 94 and up MR2, and I believe in Japan that's how it worked. And it's a complete swap over, makes it really simple. These are a little bit better turbos, so it has a CT20B turbo on it, which is stronger, can make more boost, seems to be more reliable, and just like an easy, more modern motor. Now, I wish my car did have the Gen 4, which is a COP car, coil pack car. Has a nicer looking intake manifold, etc. I'm told that the rods are slightly weaker in those motors, but I can't really complain. When they did the swap, though, they did it right. You know, they did simple mods. They added a nice side mount intercooler piping on a 3-inch intake, but this car still has cruise control, has everything you would have had from the factory, no weird smells, anything of that nature. Like I said, the only thing I do regret is not having a Gen 4, and I still do have a distributor, which seems to be leaking oil, which is one of the reasons why I hate distributors, because that's a known issue. But hey, it is what it is. Here's another little funny thing. The badges on these are white. If you can see here, they have white badges on, which I thought was really, really funny. I've never seen that before. Another thing too is in 94 and up, they had the nicer taillights. I'm probably gonna work with Ryan Patterson and have him get me a set here eventually. I know he just had a set, I just don't wanna spend the money on them yet. I'm looking to put nice wheels and tires on the car first, an exhaust, and then I'll probably go to taillights and do something of that nature, and then take it over to Josh Roberts over at Beyond Reflections and have him cut and buff this car. This is original style Toyota white paint, so this is a single stage paint job, so when you buff it, your pad turns white. This is not like a paint on clear car like the Supra is here. Early Toyotas, including Supras, besides silver or anything with metallic in it, they're all single stage paints. So when you went to buff them, you know, your pad would turn nice white color or red color or black, whatever you were trying to buff out. And it's just, that's not my forte. I like to detail my cars, but I think I'm gonna take it to him, let him do the original cut and buff, and I'll just maintain it from there. So guys, that's pretty much the basics of what my cars are, the power they're making, etc. I guess I should have mentioned this car here is making probably right now around 235, 240 wheel horsepower. I need to crank up the boost a little bit, put exhaust on it. It does have a burnt down pipe also, which I think I forgot to mention. But one last thing I want to mention before I go for all my new subscribers, yes, this is my garage. I built this house about 1.5 years ago. To give you an age perspective too, I'm 29 years old, so I built this when I was 28. It's my second house. I just came from a townhouse, and I went from a townhouse to a garage. The garage is 1,250 square feet. I made sure when I did this, I did it right, and I don't have to do it again for a little while, because I'm starting to run out of space because I don't like not having my daily driver in here. But I also had, my idea was, I stole this from, I shouldn't say stole, I got the idea from Obsessed Garage before he even had a YouTube channel. He used to go in this thing called the Garage Journal, and I saw him post his setup, and I was like, I've gotta have that. Mine's a poor man version. I did all this, everything you see, cabinets, TV, everything for under $2,000. They're all Husky cabinets, and I've had 0 issues with them. I'm very happy with the setup. And to cover up the wood here, I just bought drawer liner stuff to put over top the wood, and it's nice. When this gets dirty, I literally just take it off, rinse it off, and then put it over top. It works out perfect for working on stuff. I'm not sure why I never thought of this before when I had this table that you can see is all marked up. I bought this stack-on table from Walmart back in the day. But yeah, this has worked out really well for me. Also got my nice Red Bull fridge up there too. So guys, I hope that gives you an easy rundown of me and the channel. I did this mostly for the new people, but hopefully there's some guys out there too that want to just know what the channel's about, what I'm doing, where the purpose of this is all going. So I hope this helps, guys. So thank you very much. I appreciate it per usual. Down below, I have all my social media set up. Also, the companies that support me, TCS Motorsports, who has now signed up to help me out with the MR2 here. Ty Saxon has been very kind to help me work with this car for the ongoing future. And then Kaizen Motorsports is my go-to people for the 2JZ and anything super related. That is his bread and butter at the end of the day. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate everything y'all do. I'll talk to you later. Peace!